If you've been following along and watching us, you know I'm a little bit of a Goonies fan, right? Farmer's tan to prove it. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is a little different. We are in Astoria, Oregon right now, celebrating the 40th anniversary. So this video is going to be a little different and special. And with that in mind, please understand special does not mean professional, as we are still working out the kinks, which is why we're doing a voiceover for this video. Hope you enjoy it, and let's get into it.
Oh, Joey.
Thanks to my wife, we went to the 25th anniversary, and we've met these people there at the 25th anniversary, and we've been friends ever since.
Oh, I like Daria's shirt.
And what makes us stand out, in my mind, is these are the same group of people we meet every year up in Astoria. We share a house for a weekend, and we just celebrate the 80s. Specifically the Goonies and everything else. We watch 80s movies. We do dance parties. We do skating parties. It's
whatever events are happening around town that weekend when we happen to be there. This weekend is going to be a lot more than some of the smaller years, but
lots of drinking and lots of fun. And a component that we've added into the Goonies.
well, this is when I gave them the New Kids on the Block cards. Oh my gosh.
We
We found these at an antique mall locally and then took them in our luggage. She's a big Joe fan.
Yeah.
Oh, she was excited.
So you're done? That's it? You need some private time? If you grew hair, where like you could grow it around this,
It'd be the whole, like how Hogan has it now. That's what it would be.
And we are on our way. We pile into our rental cars. We head up to Astoria. And guys, this is kind of the format of events that we do when we get into town. We meet in we meet in Portland. We drive up together.
We go to Voodoo Donuts.
And the drive into Astoria this way, because there's two ways to get into Astoria. I think there's a south and a north, and we do the south. You're driving over the kind of this land bridge where you go over another bridge where it opens up for the ships. We've already passed it, but you know, it's just so beautiful. Really is just a beautiful city.
Yeah,
With all of the homes being built on the ground. And this is why Astoria was picked. The story was they woke up on a they arrived on a foggy night, woke up the next morning, saw this town, and they decided this is where we're going to film Goonies. And because of that, so many other movies have been made there. But I love the old homes and just the overgrowth of everything built in amongst the trees.
And very few changes there have been changes over the years since we've been going for the last 15, but it's still like familiar every time we go. And we stay usually at the same house or as long as it's available.
Yeah.
You know, but
And here it is. These are the two homes that we have. It's the green and the yellow house. The yellow house is the main house. There's two levels, you know, with bathrooms and kitchens on each level. So you can rent the top, you can rent the bottom, you can rent both. So we rent both. We have all the people stay in there. And this is going through downtown Astoria.
First stop is usually always the Chamber of Commerce.
Yep. And everyone is just so excited. We've been here so many times.
Yeah, our name is on this guest list every year we go. We usually have to sign in or something, but you know.
My special superpowers, I get to make Carrie cry at least one time during the visit. This is the inside of the Chamber of Commerce. It changes every time we go in. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I was giving her the Mama Fratelli vibes there. But yeah, it's kind of like just a moment where everyone kind of just soaks in the environment. There is some stuff you can buy there at the Chamber of Commerce, t-shirts and some swag.
It's some glasses and stuff like that we've, gotten in years past and everything. Like I have that lunchbox, it's one of those, like we have a lot of the stuff, always got to support when you go in. I like that t-shirt, that like baseball t-shirt.
Yeah. This little cove is cool. This represents all the movies that have been filmed in and around Astoria since Goonies. You can see, Free Willy and Kindergarten Cop and Short Circuit. So here's the important thing. We're picking up our scavenger booklet, you have things to do, and then you can get your pin. But because we're known, we kind of just grab our pins. Like, we kind of cheat a little bit because we're like, yeah, we've done this 15 times.
No.
But here's some of the older pins. We have all the pins in a case over here. It's just what we've collected over the years. It's a cool little swag. You do a little treasure hunt. You get a pin to commemorate your treasure hunt. And the way they have it set up is you pick it up at the Chamber of Commerce, you fill out the treasure hunt, and then you take it to the jail. And then you get your reward for filling out the treasure hunt. And this Joey with a, wind cannon up his butt, he just can't help move around. But yeah, there's the Flavel House.
And there's the Oregon.
And we are approaching the Oregon Film Museum, and this is the jail cell where everything was filmed. That is the make and model of the Jeep, but not the actual Jeep. And then the Goonies had actually signed the dashboard, but because it was in the sun for so many years, it's faded. It's long faded. They tried to put in bullet holes. I don't know if they're accurate. They drilled it.
They seem pretty accurate.
Dario brought some friends with him this year, so it was just all of them experiencing this for the first time and him, leading them around. So I'm off to just show you guys just a little bit of what's inside, and I guarantee you they're going to be upgrading this in the next couple of years, because of the attention that the Goonies house is getting currently right now. So here is the jail cell. I'm going straight to the back here because it's not something I've done before or too often. But don't pass it up because you're about to see a little Easter egg that you don't see a lot of the times when you walk into that jail. So from the back, here is just a little prop from the beginning of, the pipe that he used to prop himself up to fake his hanging. So from the back here, this is the only way you get to see Data's backpack, because you won't be able to see it in the front, obviously, because of the way they have it set up. So there's his yellow backpack. Really cool. I don't know if it's North Face.
I don't think it's... I thought it was
I think this is a close facsimile of his actual backpack. I'm not sure it's the same. But here, guys, in the corner in the back that you can only see from the back is just a mock-up of One-Eyed Willie's treasure room. And this is actually the first time I'm seeing it, because
Yeah, I don't think when we did it years ago with Kayla, I don't think we went and saw that, so that's cool.
And this is hidden in the back, accessed by the back. You can't see it. You can't see it from the front, and like they don't. It's just an Easter egg. So make sure when you're there, go check it out. We'll head out and just show you from the front. I think there is a couple things you can see from the back here after I focused in, because they have some things set up for the camera on the back there. So you have the trading cards. You have the vinyl soundtrack.
Video game, yeah.
Sealed box of Goonies cards that I would love to get. Well, there's a Goonies 2 video game.
Yeah. I was going to say some magazines, some books.
I would love that Chester Copperpot newspaper. They've never had that for sale or, for purchase. That would be a cool pickup. And here's the front of the jail. Obviously better lighting. But just the VHSs and all the swag and t-shirts and just stuff that they've stuck in there. We have that map. We have the board game.
I was going to say, I think
they got a little pin collection going. That standee would be so cool. That is a holy grail right there, that movie standee.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
look at the thermos.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now, you see something new every time. Like, we're watching this. We've seen it, I've filmed it, I've edited it, and I'm still like, oh, there's something there. And there's the jail cell. It's where it all starts right there.
Opening credit.
You dummy. And there's Data's outfit, but again, you couldn't see the Willie's treasure room from that perspective. You'd have to go in the back. And that's the inside of the jail cell. And then they have these little posters on the wall. There's going to be like some little interactions that you can do here at the Oregon Film Museum. That's not the actual one, but that is just a facsimile of
my mom's favorite piece,
the statue of David. Now I wish they would have broke off the one piece and stuck it upside down, which would be classic, but they didn't do it. I wish they would have done it because it would be more representative of the actual film. But there's some cool little relics Yep, there it is. That's David's wiener, and it's up. It's not up. It needs to be upside down.
That's my mom's favorite piece.
It's on wrong. That's all I'm saying. It's on wrong. So that baseball card is a 1970s Topps baseball card. Just a reproduction that Topps did that year of Lou Gehrig. You could find that on eBay, I think. It should be around 20 to 25 bucks.
Is that the one you have framed up there?
Yeah, so I bought mine 20 bucks with a card protector from a friend. Could be more. And where we stay, we're very close to the bridge that leads to Washington. You take that bridge over the Columbia River and you're in Washington. So today I am treasure hunting. Like I've noticed across the street from where we're living, because we're just right down the street here, there is a mom and pop estate sale business that's been operating out of this warehouse for the past few years. Long story short, they retired last year. And we got to visit them one last time last year when they had everything for 40% off. But this was my initial visit to this area, and man, they just had so many cool things. You have to imagine the amount of rich stuff that's just hiding up in those closets from those homes that have just been there for decades upon decades upon decades.
The fog.
Yeah. Like I was seeing some stuff like, oh man, like every year your brain and eyes get attuned to something. So I was describing to this guy what a CED was, and that it wasn't a laser disc, but it's a record inside of like basically a holder, and the player is so hard to find because it's a record needle that reads the movie. So the players are very hard to find. But what's iconic about these CED records, or I don't know what you would call them, basically discs, are the artwork. So people are collecting these for the artwork. I actually have the Muppet movie, and I wish I could. Again, I should have picked up The Omen, but I didn't. You know, now that I'm on a horror kick, so there's a lot of stuff. You know, I could have picked up, but who knows? They had a small collection of toys that didn't. I mean, look at those arms. They look like gorilla arms. I mean, they're longer than our body.
Poor
so
Gertie.
it just wasn't a good representation, so I passed on it. Plus, you know, it's E.T. in Gooniesville. I wasn't. Yeah, I mean, you're going to see stuff here. I mean, it's gone, but it was fun to dig through
When
some
Josh
stuff.
doesn't buy me Pyrex, I see in this video.
So what I did
it's
get her is I got her free VHS cassette storage units that they just gave me for free. They said, hey,
That I do not
you
like.
can have them. We'd actually drove up. I said, oh, we can take these for you. They said, great. It was just a wife and a husband, and the husband's like, I'm so tired today, just take them.
You bought this instead of...
No, these were free.
You got this. And
Yep.
I feel you, Carrie. That's how I feel you right now. He missed my Pyrex.
So I did,
But look, he bought himself.
So I bought some Playboys for Joe, and Joe took these. These are gone. Joe took these in a heartbeat. But yeah, they gave me these storage units for free, which I filled up with goodies, guys. They were storage units that we filled up with goodies on our drive back. So we're doing gifts. We exchange gifts. We always have gifts to give each other. This year, it's like a lighted up. What was it, like some kind of
it's like a
One-Eyed Willie's token, or like it was the key, but it was like it lit up and stuff like that. So yeah, and this is kind of the hangout place. This is the downstairs. Through that door is the upstairs. This is their first time. They brought us gifts, so I mean, guys, it's just so much fun to hang out with people who have the same mind as you. All right, so me and Joe, we're out. We got to go. Like, when we're there, we don't stop. It's like a Vegas feel in the sense that once you're in Vegas, you don't want to go to sleep. So
Joey is a completionist. He likes to do everything that you're supposed to do to get the button.
So we go to the Fable House. We have to wave hi to passersby. Here is Inside Chunk's Bowling Alley. This is a prerequisite. You always have to go there. Of course, Daria's friends, first time there. We hit Columbia Bowling Alley, Chunk's Bowling Alley. And I'm pointing out here why they had to do the whole smash of the shake and pizza was to hide the McDonald's logo, because Burger King was sponsoring the movie, and that's what the glasses came from, Burger King. So some cool swag. pieces of information that they have. And then over here is a map where you can pin a location of where you're visiting from, so you can see.
People come from all over.
Yep. And then our dream is we're going to hit it big with a slot machine so we can walk out of there with a home in Astoria, Oregon.
Yes.
We're always hitting up the slot machines for obvious reasons. And Jessica cannot walk away without hitting some buttons.
Except you're the one that's always goading me to do it.
Well, the scare, it's fun. It's
See?
like you get 10 chances, and at the very 10th, that's your bonus. You get an automatic bonus at the 10th, and depending on how many scarabs you get, you can hit it big. Local eateries. What is this place called?
I think this is, well, it used to be like the Mad Dog Cafe. I think it's now like Astoria Brewing Company or something like that.
Yeah, so inside one of the local eateries, right on the water, they always have these, you know,
They have
tourist traps, T-shirts, swag, buttons.
I always usually pick up a shirt because they usually have something a little bit different than some of the other locations. So, and I like the little mock-up of like the Walsh porch and everything
That's
inside.
me being me, because I'm a troublemaker.
Sure, that's what we'll call it.
And then here's the Goondocks, guys. This is what is considered the Goondocks. All these piers that have dilapidated, where the fishing boats would come in, offload the fish, can them, process them, however you want to call it. Huge industry back in the, I guess what, early 1900s?
I don't know. Wasn't even
Way
gonna
before
stab a
our
guess.
time, but it was like this for the movie. That's why they were called the Goondocks, and that's why the area was kind of depressed, because the fishing industry is kind of, well, it's done.
I think it says Astoria Brewing Company.
Check out 80s Joe on Instagram. Now, guys, we are inside the convenience store that's in the deleted scenes. Now, you do see the outside of this convenience store, and I love all the, love that they're giving the Goonies by putting in these little displays in these stores. But you only saw the outside of the store briefly as Margarita is crossing the street as the cop cars come rushing by, and we go into that little that store is still there. I think it's a coffee shop now.
Ooh, there's the house.
And then there's the house. We're not walking up to it because I've already done the video. So if you need to see us walking up to the house, you can just go back a few videos and find it. We've been in the house 2 or 3 times. We've been on the porch a couple times. When Sandy owned it, she was really gracious for those anniversaries.
We're doing a walk around now, so this is
And then if
kindergarten
you go
cup.
back, if you go the other way, you're going to go to the John Jacob Astoria Elementary School where Kindergarten Cop was filmed. And now we're off downtown Astoria, Oregon.
Best part of going to Astoria is being able to walk around.
You're going to do a lot of walking in Astoria, and you're going to love it. But this was Gizmo's. This is an arcade / hangout place.
I love it every time they have something different, just kind of, or they're adding to their display. Look at that Nintendo Lego set.
Yeah.
I picked it up recently. Some He-Man. Brother from another mother. That's funny. Grogu and Gizmo.
But this is a place you're going to hit if you have kids. I think they have...
They have shirts and stuff there too.
Yeah, they have food, video games, a place to sit, a place to eat. Now, you do have to understand, Astoria changes all the time. Things come, things go, so what you may see now may not be there, or if it's there, it may be in a different state. But this was the 38th anniversary.
It's still there.
And yeah, we're pretty sure that's still there, and we go there every year, and it hasn't changed much in the couple of years that we're there.
Yeah, it's good to see like this type of a business still kind of thriving there. And a couple of the other new recent bars. Hey, I got that. I got that. I got that. I got that book.
Yeah, so we joked about if we were going to do any
Pebbles!
So if we were going to do any type of tomfoolery, we'd case Gizmos out and just clean them dry with all their collectibles. But yeah, they had a DVD, VCR, DVD recorder chilling playing movies, and going the old Blockbuster route of just hanging out in the living room watching movies in their little hangout area there. It used to be all video games. They'd had like Xboxes and PlayStations, and now they've reverted back to just the hangout place on a couch watching movies. There's the arcade. It used to be like, used to be another room where that
Yeah,
wall
when we
was.
went years previously with our kids, there was like another room behind that. And it wasn't called Gizmos at that time. So we have that on another video.
And then we can just go do some more shopping along Main Street, and there has been an influx of these antique malls popping up on the Main Street. So we go digging, and man, it was so freaking cool. I actually ran out of batteries, and my sound wasn't great, which is why we're doing this voiceover. 2 years ago, I was still figuring things out, but at least I got the video of all the treasure hunting that we did.
Because, yeah, 2 years ago, I think this is like, we had just picked up some of the equipment.
This was a heartbreak right here. Vampirella, Warren Publishing Vampirella without the cover. When I saw this video 2 years later and I started editing, I was like, you should have bought those. Even, like, depending on what the prices were.
That was $3.
Warren Publishing is very collectible. And, I mean, had they had the original Vampirella covers on them, they would have been more, and I would have bought them, but they were without the covers. Yeah. So there was stuff there that I didn't know about at the time.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You want to, like, cry? You
No,
okay?
there was no cover. There's no cover. So I'm okay. I'm okay. I mean, if it's still there, and trust me, guys, I go back and I still see some of the same stuff.
Yeah.
You know, with antique malls, people just let stuff sit until it sells or they die.
Oh, boy. Okay.
But what I'm always looking for are Goonie-related items because, yes, it's Astoria. People bring the Goonies-related items. I'm looking for, like, Mad Magazine Goonie covers, just stuff like that. That watch was cool, but it was like $40. And I'm like, I'm not here for Jurassic Park. We're here for Goonies, which is why we wore our Ghostbusters shirts. But
Daria got the memo in the beginning of the video. He was wearing Ghostbusters too.
So it's just been really cool to see the proliferation of these antique malls because this was new. This was our first time walking through this. There is an antique mall that I'll show you, and there is like the mecca of antique mall booths with just nothing but the best Goonie stuff, but a lady who has it, and I tracked her down on Facebook. Boy, I don't know how she gets it or where she gets it from, but
she had an Idaho or Iowa? Idaho?
Yeah, like she had an Idaho Facebook profile, and she set up a booth in an antique mall here that you'll see shortly, and is just cashing in on Goonie stuff.
We usually always try to buy something from it.
But yeah, I mean, I was finding Star Wars in here. Again, no weapons, and I'm like, okay, I knew enough to be like, I'm not buying old Star Wars figures anymore without at least the weapons.
This wasn't Power of the Force. This was vintage 70s.
These are vintage, yeah. These are vintage. Yeah, you can tell by the chest.
And this is the one. So
Fog Bounders Antique Mall is the one antique mall you have to visit when you're in Astoria, Oregon. 2 levels, basement level. I'm on the very front or top level where we're about to show you is the rich stuff. Very popular, and then I walk in, I'm like, no way, they're selling the cheap 12-inch. And here it is, guys. This is the lady who has all the rich stuff, the Goonies cards, the packs. She has everything. Last year, she had a Mad Magazine of a Goonies for $400 that I couldn't comp. I couldn't find it by Google Lensing it. I couldn't find it on eBay. I couldn't find nothing on it except for maybe WorthPoint, and again, you know where we're at there. So $400, I basically got back from her friend, yeah, it's worth $50. I mean, she has, obviously, you're paying some premium prices because you're in Astoria, Oregon, and I guarantee you somebody bought it for $400. We have all those glasses.
Yeah.
Burger King glasses.
And I've had duplicates of them, and I've sold off our duplicates.
And this lady's killing it because she's got Star Wars. She's got vintage Star Wars. She's got
the thing
on
I'm
top of the Goonies.
excited about this year is similar to the 30th or something like that. Is there's an 80s vintage market happening on Saturday,
Yeah.
so tomorrow, and I'm excited to see what people are bringing from, you know, and will have for sale, because that's what I'm saving my pennies for, to go shopping on Saturday.
Trust us when we're going to be compiling a ton of content from the 40th that we'll be dumping on you
Shortly.
in the next few months. But I was just stunned that this lady had upgraded her Goonies booth into vintage He-Man, vintage Star Wars. I was like, where is this lady getting this stuff? Is she getting it from Idaho and bringing it over to Astoria, Oregon? Vintage G.I. Joe. Like, I don't know if she's a snowbird who is just collecting some really rare stuff from Idaho and vice versa, and, you know, finding stuff there and selling it in Idaho. Who knows? I mean, it makes sense.
We don't care. It's cool to look at.
Yeah. Star Brigade on card. G.I. Joe Star Brigade on card.
Ghostbusters.
She just, man.
Hulk.
Yeah. And trust me, she has some very hefty prices. So like the pack of cards for one card pack from Goonies, sealed wax pack, she's asking, and we saw $25. And I guess like maybe 10 years ago, we'd go in there and we'd buy like them for like 5 to 10. Those prices have gone up dramatically since we're gone in there.
What did that say? I didn't see.
I don't know what the price was. We didn't get it.
Yeah, we didn't buy it just based off of, I think, condition. But I think it was the first time I had seen a Masters of the Universe case.
We're not looking for He-Man stuff in Astoria, Oregon. Like, it's cool.
At this point, I'm looking at anything and everything because we had started our journey. I have that Princess of Powers.
You were seriously, I wanted you to buy it, but they had like $75 on it.
Yeah.
But it did have the thermos, and it was in really good condition.
Which I have both of those things, but yeah.
But again, we're not pulling the triggers on stuff that isn't Goonies related when you're in Astoria, Oregon. Like,
yeah, see, I have the yellow one. There's a different color Princess of the Power, and I think it's pink or purple.
So I already have first pressings of Short Circuit 1 and 2 on VHS. There's Cyndi Lauper. There's some vinyl there. Tons of vinyl there. Finally picked that up, or I need to pick it up. I don't remember. She has comic books. And she had a lot of stuff, and then I noticed she had a
Snake Mountain.
Snake Mountain. This was 2 years ago, and I was like, man, Snake Mountain looks cool. So I pull it down, and I started inspecting it, and it had a lot of the pieces. Battery cover was missing. Good decals. The snake part was there. Microphone was attached. The netting was still there. And I think the only thing I determined it was missing besides the battery cover is just one of the bridges. But yeah, I was like, this is super cool.
Aren't you glad you waited? Because now you have one with a box.
Yes. Yes. It worked out.
You really must have wanted it.
It's the first time I ever laid eyes on a Snake Mountain. All right, we're moving on. This guy has some comic books, but nothing good. And then what I did end up finding was some seriously mint first pressing Van Halens for like $14. It ended up being like $12.50 or something like that. $12 to $14 for first pressing mint condition Van Halen. I checked the vinyl; they were mint. It wasn't like he had a bunch of Van Halen too. So I just filled up my Van Halen collection at this one antique mall in like 5 minutes. That classic right there, that's a classic cover of the young baby smoking. So that's hard to find, and that goes for good money. That one was mint too. So yeah. This record collection is no longer there. This is 2 years old. I've checked. It's gone. They've sold out. And that's the nature of antique malls, guys, is...
If you got something good for good price, it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
If you see it, buy it.
Roger
Yeah,
Rabbit.
so this is, my battery died, and I picked up a 1988 Roger Rabbit that was absolutely clean, which I still have up here. He's the centerpiece of my plush collection. I was so stoked to find a 1988 vintage Roger Rabbit plush.
Because he loves Jessica.
Yeah. And all I need is now. Now all I need is, blah, boom. We skipped all the drinking and partying. I'm not going to show you guys that. You're just going to have to come to Astoria and hang out with us if you want that footage. But Sunday mornings, we go to the local, what's it called, farmers market?
Yeah, Sunday market, do it every time we're in town.
There's always something different there, guys.
Sometimes you get,
One of the cool stories is there was a guy that would hang out who was a surfer, and he had a V-dub bus. And he supplemented his surfing dreams by selling portraits or photographs he took of the coast. And
great frame
I
art.
actually found one of those photographs signed by him in our local Goodwill, which I picked up, and Jessica was like, "Oh yeah, buy that, bring it home for sure, for sure." So that was cool, like finding some stuff at a flea market that was sold there down here in a local Goodwill.
Hotel Elliott, nice.
We lucked out too, I will say, when it comes to weather. This is the absolute perfect weather. No clouds. You're looking at 60s to 70s. Now, we've gone there before. Windy, rainy, cloudy. It can happen. It's the coast of Oregon, right? But we lucked out.
Ecola State Park.
Yep. So here we are at Ecola State Park. I just pointed out Haystack Rock. So that this was kind of new. They put up a placard that just basically explained this is where the Goonies was filmed, and also where the carnival scene in Kindergarten Cop was filmed. That's all, folks. But right there is where
the Lighthouse Lounge would be.
And if you ever realize why there were so many piles of wood around that area, it's because they had to...
You're pointing to this like...
Yeah, they had to cover up the benches that were stationed in concrete in there that they couldn't move. So they just put lumber on top of them. But this is their first time at Ecola State Park, and it's just a breathtaking scene. It's a special little tight road that you have to wind down.
Yeah.
It can get very windy there. So again, we were so lucky to have a perfect day. 80s Joe always goes off, does his own little video and we always just do this as for fun, filming each other.
They really do, every year. Sometimes it's down by Haystack, sometimes it's up here, sometimes it's in downtown Astoria. Wherever the mood strikes them.
But it's kind of like a little, holy spot for us Goonies. We just stand there and just soak up the nostalgia.
Did you think you were taking a picture?
I think we took a selfie.
Okay.
Who knows? If I had, done better on my sound. So down by Haystack Rock is a little town, touristy town, like very ritzy, very expensive.
Cannon Beach.
Cannon Beach. I mean, that's where the musicians live.
But we also like antiquing around there, too. There's some good shops. Well, there's a comic book shop.
And then we always stop at Moe's Seafood, where everybody has to get their clam chowder, but not this guy.
I was going to say, we don't stop at Moe's. Everyone else.
Not this guy. These guys stop at Moe's. We bailed, took off, and we hit some more antique malls. There's stories of it being so windy at this parking lot here when they were filming the Goonies. The catering truck blew over. I mean, that's how windy it can get up here. So we bail on our friends. We hit the local antique mall in, what is it called?
In Cannon Beach.
Cannon Beach. No, it's going back. We're going back home. This isn't Cannon Beach. This is going back home. This is going away from Cannon Beach. It's a little town outside of, that's where the Goodwill is, the town.
Warrenton?
Yeah, I think it might be Warrenton or Rose. What's it called? Rose.
Oh, we didn't buy that.
Yeah. So this antique mall coughed up this little comic book display, and I noticed 101 Comics is local. He has like another store, so we called him, and said, hey, are you open? And we went to the comic book store here, and he had cards. Yeah, look at all those wax packs. Yeah. So this is a retired individual. Him and his wife just set up a comic book shop there, put some stuff in an antique mall, and he's blown out his whole comic book collection. He had so much collected over the years. He had his own store. He could open up his own store. So we picked up that Ghostbusters 2 wax pack. They're a super nice old couple. You can just tell he was still a kid at heart. He had just had so much stuff. We bought one comic book, as we always do. We go to a comic book shop. We fill our Star Wars holes that we have in the original run.
So it's nice to meet you. I'm Josh.
That's 101 Comics.
Robert, nice to meet you.
I forgot his name. Again, if you turn it up, you can hear it. Every year we go to Astoria, I hit up his comic book shop and I grab more Star Wars comics. And this year, I'm going to check him out and see if he's open and stop by and see what else he has. That was a nice pickup. I really like that cover.
Yeah, I do too. Like the pink and the blue.
Yeah, I said it looked very Miami Vice-ish, yeah. That's his wall of comics there. You can't go back there. He has it cordoned off. He has to take you back there if you want to look at comic books in those boxes. I'm just like, it's really super cool. Then he's got the cheap, dollar comics up front. I asked him, I said, where do you get this stuff? People walking in and just, is there a comic book? He's like, no, this is just all my collection. I've collected over the years. He retired and said, hey, babe, we're moving. This is where they ended up. And so if you're up there, check out 101 Comics. Just Google it, and it'll take you right there.
Seaside.
That's what it is. Seaside. 101 Comics and Seaside. They're retired, so they have retired hours. They might just have the day off, Even though it might say those are their business hours, they may not be open. I have twice called them. And the second time, they're like, are you stalking me? And I'm like, no, dude, I just pulled your number off of the antique mall ad that you have there. And he's like, oh, okay. There's lots of treasure hunting you can do in Astoria, Oregon.
Or surrounding little
the surrounding areas. There's we've actually gone into the Goodwills.
We have.
We always go into the Goodwill there. I scored some Muppet toys from there that were super cool. So you just never know what you're going to grab. I can tell you this, if you're hunting solely Goonie stuff, you are going to pay like 1,000% premium on anything Goonies related. Just letting you know.
That's why I'm excited for the 80s market. Just because it might be slightly different or a little better. You never know.
What are you looking for from the 80s market?
If I'm being honest, I would love a lunchbox and a thermos.
Yeah.
But that would be potentially a pretty penny. That would be up there.
Like how much? Spitball. What do you expect to pay for?
I think that could be like $200.
$200 for a Goonies lunchbox?
I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to see.
You'd pay it because you're in Astoria. That's what you're looking for.
Well, I think like some of the last times I've looked on eBay, but I mean, it could go up. I have no idea. So I have to look at that before I go to see like what's the current price.
All right, so here is our pin collection. Some of them are rare. So this Goonies button that says Take the Oath, that is a vintage pin. As you can see, there's been some other pins, some cheap pins, just aftermarket third-party pins. And then we have every single one of the Goonies Day pins. All right, so we have confirmed. You did this, so I don't remember it happening, but here is just the Goonies storybook. I'm pretty sure you can probably find these for like 15, 20 bucks from 1985. And then what Jessica did is
So Chunk signed there. Mr. Perkins signed there.
Curtis Hanson.
Corey Feldman signed here.
Corey Feldman.
And then Joey signed back here.
Oh, the Fratelli brothers, yeah. So that's the same signature I got, and that's the card I have him signed.
So we're going to be seeing him and Andy. So I've got to figure out, which picture or page, I guess, to have them sign. But it's Friday night, so we're having fun.
Yeah. So you're watching this on Friday night, Saturday.
We're out.
We are having the times of our lives. We'll see you there. Bye.
Bye.